the same, what do you call it, as a memory of the Bodhicitta Retreat Series 16. I was the mala for each one of you. Yeah, as the memory, right? Okay, come. Gate gate paragate parasangate bodhisvaha dhyata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhisvaha dhyata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhisvaha. Okay, please take your seats. Okay, now we will do one thing, which is the establishing emptiness. According to Acharya Chandragiri, okay, according to Buddha, according to Aranigarjuna, and according to Acharya Chandragiri, all three put together, which is known as the reasoning, reasoning to reject the seven modes, reasoning to reject the seven modes to establish emptiness. The reasoning to reject the seven modes to establish emptiness. The reasoning to reject the seven modes to establish emptiness. Okay. This one is more like the summary. Acharya Chandragiri in his text, Madhyamika Avatar, entering the middle way, Acharya Chandragiri explained or taught emptiness, split into two, self-essence of phenomena and self-essence of person. The second half, self-essence of the person, when he was talking about the emptiness of the person, self-essence of person, he used this reasoning. The reasoning to reject the seven modes to establish emptiness. The reasoning to reject the seven modes to establish emptiness. Okay, for that we need to first know what the seven modes are. What the seven modes are. And then we have to reject each of the seven modes. And given that we have already studied the four essentials, it becomes very easy. Because to understand the four essentials, that is like the ground for understanding the emptiness according to any other reasoning. So that is more like the ground. So with this understanding of the four essentials, it becomes very easy for us to understand the emptiness, the rejection of the seven modes. Okay, first, let us enumerate what the seven modes are. The seven modes are, okay, oneness, differentness, dependent, dependee, possession slash appropriation, These two are the two choices of words. Possession slash appropriation, A-P-P-R-O, appro, P-R-I-A-T-I-O-N, appropriation. And then the collection and the special shape. Collection and finally the special shape. Okay, oneness, differentness, dependent, dependee, possession, special, the shape, special shape, no, collection and the special shape. Okay, these are the seven modes, and we have to reject each one of these seven modes. Do you get it? What are the seven? What's the first one? Oneness. Second one? Differentness. Next? Dependent. Dependee. Possession. Collection. Special shape. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? Okay, can we say this? Can we say this without looking at it, or can we try to say this without looking at it? Oneness, differentness, dependent, dependee, possession, collection, special shape. Okay, let's say this again. Oneness, differentness, dependent, dependee, possession, collection, special shape. Right? Okay, these are the seven modes. We have to reject these seven modes. Okay, rejecting these seven modes is not difficult actually. So, not difficult for somebody who already studied the four essentials. Right? Okay, now the Buddha, at one point in time, when the Buddha was establishing emptiness, at one point Buddha taught emptiness in so many places to so many people at different times, right? But one set of the teachings that you find there, the Buddha rejected not the seven, Buddha rejected four modes. And Nagarjuna added one more, making it 5. Then Acharya Chandragiri added 2 more, making it 7. Right? So all these rejections can be, you can understand it if you understand the four essentials well. If you understand four essentials, the 7 rejections will become very easy. But if you study the 7 rejections, why Nagarjuna added 1 more? Why Acharya Chandragiri added 2 more? Is all because that to suit the contemporary audience. Because what the Buddha rejected, that is very comprehensive. But the later, say the people, the later beings, they could not understand it fully. So Acharya Chandragiri added 1 more to make it more simple. Then Nagarjuna added 1 more, making it 5. Then Acharya Chandragiri added 2 more, making it 7. Okay. Same, the last 2, they are added by Acharya Chandragiri. The last 2 were added by Acharya Chandragiri. And number 2, of the 7 modes, number 2 was added by Nagarjuna. Number 2, which is differentness, rejection of the differentness. So what we have to say is, we say the 7 modes and the rejection of the 7 modes. We have to reject the 7 modes, right? We have to reject. It's not we have to prove the 7 modes. We have to reject the 7 modes. So rejection of the second one. What's the rejection of the second one? Rejecting the differentness. Rejecting differentness was what Nagarjuna added. So what the Buddha taught was rejecting the oneness, rejecting dependent, rejecting dependee, and rejecting the possession. So these 4 were taught by the Buddha. And then Nagarjuna added the rejection of the differentness. Then Acharya Chandrakirti added 2 more, rejection of the collection and the rejection of the special shape. Very good. Okay. So now, in fact, this morning we read it. Okay. If you turn to page 217, stanza 3. Page 217, stanza 3. It says, this is from Nagarjuna's rejected. Nagarjuna rejected how many modes? Only 1.
5.
Rejected how many modes? Of the 7, how many he rejected? Only 1.
All of them.
Oh.
But he added just 1.
I did not ask how much he added. I said, how many were rejected? Of the 7 rejections, how many rejections Nagarjuna did? Huh? Huh?
5.
No idea. Huh?
5.
No, just think. It's very easy. What I said, Buddha rejected 4. On the 4, Nagarjuna added 1 more, which means he rejects 5. On this, Acharya Chandrakirti added 2, making it 7. As simple as that. Right? You getting it? Okay. So how many of the 7 rejections, how many points were rejected? How many of the 7 points were rejected by Nagarjuna? 5. And how many points were rejected by Acharya Chandrakirti? 7. And how many points were explicitly rejected by the Buddha? 4. And what are the 4 things which are rejected by the Buddha? Oneness, dependent, dependee, possession. 4. And on top of these 4, then Nagarjuna added 1 more, making 5. What is the 5th one that he added? Differentness, rejecting the differentness. Then Acharya Chandrakirti, on top of the 5, he added 2 more. What are they? Rejection of the collection and rejection of the special shape. Okay, good. Now, if you turn to page 217, you will see the 5 points, which Nagarjuna, the 5 modes which Nagarjuna rejected. Stanza 3. Neither the aggregates, meaning the first one, aggregates, the self is not one with the aggregates, oneness, rejection of oneness. You getting it? Did you see this? Do you see this? Neither the aggregates. This is rejection of the oneness. No different from the aggregates. This is the rejection of the differentness. This is what Nagarjuna added. No different from the aggregates. Number 3. The aggregates don't depend on him. The aggregates don't depend on him. This is actually the dependee. Right? This is the dependee, rejection of the dependee. No, is he dependent on them? This is the dependent. Right? So, the order-wise, don't worry. Dependent, dependee, for us to remember, it will be easy. Right? Dependent first, dependee. Okay, let's say dependent, dependee. What do you mean by dependent, dependee? Let's say that I depend. Let's say, okay, I'm a very young boy, age 3-4. When I was a very young boy, I was heavily dependent on my mother. So I am the dependent because I depend on my mother. I'm the dependent. And on whom I depend is the dependee. Right? For example, if I walk on the walking stick, with the help of the walking stick, I'm dependent on the walking stick. So I'm the dependent, and the walking stick is dependee. Okay, this is meaning. Okay, now let's say, are you dependent on your body?
Yes.
Huh? Oh, don't trust my face, be confident.
Of course.
Are you dependent on your body?
Yes.
Yes. That you are a boy, that you are a girl, all these things are determined by your body. So therefore you are dependent on your body. Is your body dependent on you?
Yes.
Not dependent.
No.
Not or yes?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Your body, is it dependent on you?
Sure.
Huh? CP, your body, is this CP's body or is it Ishwar's body? Your body, right? So because of you, then this body becomes your body. So it is dependent on you, right? Okay, and then it also, the CP has to take care of your body, right? So you have to give food to this body, otherwise the body will not survive. So that it depends on CP, the cell. So your body is dependent on the self is dependent on the body. These two are mutually dependent. There's a mutuality of dependence. There's a mutuality of the dependence between the body and the self. The parts and the whole. The parts and the whole, these two are mutually dependent. The parts and the whole, these two are mutually dependent. Okay, so what it says here, aggregates don't depend on him. Okay, don't worry how they are not dependent, don't worry. First we enumerate the 5 points. After enumerating 5 points, then we'll go through explaining what's the meaning. Okay, aggregates don't depend on him. So dependent, dependee. This one is, say with respect to the self and the aggregate. Aggregates don't depend on him means self becomes the dependee. So dependee is rejected. Nor is he dependent on them. Now he is not dependent, he or she is not dependent on the aggregates, which means he or she is not dependent. The Tathagata does not possess the aggregates, possession is rejected. Okay, how many points modes are rejected here? How many modes are rejected here? 4 or 3? Well, what are they? Neither the aggregates, 1. No different from the aggregates, 2. Aggregates don't depend on him, 3. No, is he dependent on them, 4. Tathagata does not possess the aggregates, 5. Right? Okay, 5. The 5 modes are rejected here. So this is by Aranyaka. You getting it? Now Acharya Chandrakirti in his text, at the midway, he added 2 more. The collection and a special shade. Okay. Now, how do we reject each of these 7 points? Right? That we will do now. Okay, that is not difficult. Given that we already learned the 4 essentials, it is easy. So for that we have to think of, say, the same ultimate analysis and the conventional analysis. Okay, anyone who likes to share with us as to what do you understand by conventional analysis first, before we go to the second one. Conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. So what do you understand by conventional analysis? Anyone? Anyone?
Naked eyes.
Analysis. Okay, is illustration, right? Through naked eyes is illustration. Because with the ear can also be conventional analysis.
As it looks to us.
Okay.
Investigation.
Okay. Let's say analysis meaning the subject. You go to subject. We should be very precise. This is another thing that we have to learn, right? We have to learn the skill of the precision. So analysis means you go to subject. Don't go to the as it looks to us. As it looks to us means the as it appears to us refers to more to the object. Analysis is subject, not object. So these are the precisions that we have to have. So analysis, conventional analysis, ultimate analysis. When we look at through our naked eyes, we are using the conventional analysis, which means that our eyes, our mind, which sees the flower as flower. This is the conventional analysis. Okay, now the conventional analysis is analysis, or let's say analysis which accords with the convention of that particular object. analysis which accords with the convention of the particular object. That is a conventional analysis. Okay. So with respect to the flower, okay, let's say with respect to the flower, the one which sees the atoms of the flower, is it conventional analysis or ultimate analysis? This is turning towards the ultimate analysis, not conventional analysis. With respect towards the flower, seeing the color of the flower, is it conventional analysis or ultimate analysis? Conventional analysis. Very good. Okay. Now the ultimate analysis is the analysis which crosses the border of the conventions of the particular object. Ultimate analysis is the analysis which crosses the border of the conventions of the particular object. So when you go into the atoms of the flower, then the flower makes no sense. Conventional flower dissolves. So you cross the border of the conventionality. This is the ultimate analysis. Okay. Now to rejection of the 7 modes. To do the rejection of 7 modes successfully, we have to use these 2 analyses, conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. Okay, let's see. Say this self. How does the self, okay, let's say this flower. How does this flower appear to you? As objectively real or as subjectively real? As objectively real. This is how it appears. It appears as objectively real. Okay. Now, does it really exist the way it appears? Does it really exist the way it appears as objectively real? Does it exist subjectively? That we have to analyze, right? Okay, let's say no, but how? We have to analyze. Now, if the flower does exist objectively the way it appears to us, then we should not miss what Arjuna said. What is that thing? Mirage. Okay, do you remember the words you have to write? Right? You have written? Yes, just look at this word. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Okay, let's say this again once more. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Right? Remember that. So, if the flower exists objectively, then we go closer to the object. Objectively, objective existence, ultimate existence, they all mean the same. Objective existence, ultimate existence, true existence, independent existence, they all mean the same. If it does exist objectively, then closer you go towards the object, you'll be able to find it. If it does exist ultimately, then with the ultimate analysis, you should be able to find it. If it does exist ultimately, if it does exist objectively, then the ultimate analysis should be able to find it. Find the flower. You getting it? Okay. Let's say now we apply this. We will apply these 5 modes, rejecting the 5 modes and rejecting the 7 modes with the flower. If the flower exists objectively, why not we see the flower as we go closer to the object? So which of the 2 analysis goes closer towards the object? Ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Ultimate analysis. Now, for that we have to employ the ultimate analysis. By using the ultimate analysis, what do you see? You will see millions of atoms and you see the flower disappear. 2 things. You see millions of atoms and you see the flower disappear. Right? Okay, stay there. With this ultimate analysis, stay there. Now we will see we will see that the 7 modes are all rejected. Okay, 1. What's the rejection number 1? Oneness. Reject the oneness. Oneness meaning oneness with the parts. Then what do you see now? With the ultimate analysis, what do you see?
Atoms.
Atoms are the parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which of the atoms is the flower? None. So the flower is not one with the parts. Rejected. Okay, what is number 2? Differentness. Now if the flower is different from the atoms, remove the atoms.
No flower.
There should be the flower left there. Is it left there?
No.
No. If you If the flower is different the atoms, remove the atoms, they should be left as a different, but nothing is left there as a flower. So if you understand this, the second rejection is done. Rejection of differentness. Verse number 3. Dependent, dependee. Right? Dependent and dependee. Okay. Okay, let's say the flower, does it depend on the atoms?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, don't trust my face.
Yes, yes.
Sure, trust my face so easily.
I thought yes.
Right. Okay. The flower, does it depend on the atoms which constitute the flower?
Yes.
Yes, of course. So it says it doesn't depend. Right? The aggregates don't depend on him. Right? Okay. So what's the meaning? So this says when you're subjecting the flower to the ultimate analysis, still I told you, subject the flower to ultimate analysis and stay there as I told you. You're getting it? So when you stay there, what is saying? That I am dependent on my mother. Okay, let's say let's say the billionaire sponsor of Dharma Friends of Israel. What food does he eat?
Same food.
Huh? He depends on what kind of food. The billionaire sponsor of
There is no
Dharma. Listen. Billionaire sponsor of Dharma Friends, the billionaire sponsor of Dharma Friends of Israel. He depends on the which kind of food, which kind of medicines. Huh? So medicine becomes the dependee, and he becomes the dependent, right? Okay, what kind of medicines he depend on? Okay, to say dependent, dependee, they should be two things. One is dependent medicines is fine, medicine is everywhere available. But the billionaire sponsor of Dharma Friends of Israel is non-existent. Because this is non-existent, that he or she dependent on the medicines makes no sense. So dependent and dependee, they should be two things. Right? If there are no two things, then dependent and dependee makes no sense. You agree with me? Huh?
So it has to be real, not imaginary? It has to be not imaginary?
No. Generally speaking, don't think about the philosophy for the time being, right? Say, the billionaire sponsor of Dharma Friends of Israel, what medicines he depend on? I heard that he doesn't sleep well in the night. Right? He has what? Insomnia. He has insomnia, right? So what medicines he depends on? No, he doesn't depend on anything. Why? Because he doesn't exist. So to say that he depends on something, he should exist. So dependent, two things should exist. Right? Okay.
So the flower doesn't exist.
So Tamar,
Yeah,
got it.
But if you want...
Listen. Just listen what Tamar said.
Yeah, sure.
You got it?
Sure.
What did she say?
The flower doesn't exist. So
No, I'm not asking you, I'm asking others. What did she say?
if the flower not exist, he cannot be dependent.
Very good. Okay, now we are... With which analysis we are looking at this object? With the ultimate analysis. With the ultimate analysis you are looking at it, that there should be two things. Dependent. The flower depends on the atoms. There should be two things. You should be seeing the flower, you should be seeing the atoms. You are not seeing the flower. So in your eyes, flower is non-existent. So what is existent? Only the atoms. So therefore dependent between the flower and the atoms makes no sense. Right? So number 3 and number 4 rejected. Dependent, rejected. What is number 5? Hey, what is number 5? Possession. Huh? How can you reject it?
No possession, no nothing.
How?
No flower, no possession.
Again same. To reject a possession,
You have
right? To say possession means possessed and possessor. Appropriated and appropriator. There should be two things. Right? But again, there's There's no two things there. Only the atoms, not the flower. So the appropriator, appropriated, or the possessor and the possession, or the possessed,